What's up guys, Tommy with Studio Sense here. Thanks so much for stopping by to check out today's video. Way back in 2012, I had a friend that was getting married and he asked me if I would be one of his best men. Of course I said yes, and then he asked me for suggestions because traditionally the best men get a gift from the groom, and of course I recommended fragrance. After he thought about it a little bit, he decided to get everyone Versace Man Eau Fraiche. This isn't the original bottle, I used that up some time ago. This is a backup bottle. It was my first experience with Versace Man Eau Fraiche and I really liked it, as did everyone else who got it as a gift. And to this day I still wear it and enjoy it, but I've never done an actual full review of the fragrance. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to take a little bit of a closer look at Versace Man Eau Fraiche when we come back. That and more is coming your way, so stay tuned. Welcome back everyone to today's video review of Versace Man Eau Fraiche. So taking a closer look at the 2006 release of Versace Man Eau Fraiche begs the question, is it still a fragrance that you would want to buy and wear today? Well, let's take a closer look, obviously, at the presentation. Essentially, Versace Man Eau Fraiche is the exact same presentation as the original Versace Man that came out 3 years earlier. It's just a lighter color. It's almost like a baby powder blue, mostly clear, mostly transparent, as is the juice inside. It has ridges around the bottle, which kind of feel good in terms of a tactile feel, and the lid, of course, is just plastic, nothing to write home about. The atomizer, I'll go ahead and waste a spray to show you guys. Atomizer, 2 sprays, works really well. It's got a silver band around it, very thin, but the silver plate says Versace Man on the front, and then in silver lettering Eau Fraiche on the front of the bottle. The bottom has an adhesive sticker with a batch code as well as some other additional information. Very simple, very classic looking geometric square basically shape. The thing that I find most interesting is that the fragrance, in comparison with the presentation, doesn't smell like the presentation looks. Judging by the look, you would think that it's going to be this light blue, almost generic or light skin scent kind of fragrance, but that's not at all what it is and what it smells like. So let's talk a little bit about the formula or the notes that make up Versace Man Eau Fraiche. Versace Man Eau Fraiche opens with notes of rosewood, starfruit, and lemon, with heart notes of tarragon, cedar leaf, and clary sage, resting on a base of ambergris or ambroxan, musk, and plane tree wood. Also, what I find most interesting, and I'm going to set this aside for now because we're done looking at the presentation for now. Well, one thing I find very interesting about the formula, the notes that make up Versace Man Eau Fraiche, is that there's nothing to date it. Right now, you can look at certain fragrances that came out in the mid-90s or the early 2000s. You'll see a string of fragrant notes that were kind of repetitive, that were typically used in fragrances at that time. We still see that in men's fragrance today, but just not as prolific as it was back then. This fragrance was a bit of a departure in such a way. I think it was kind of a little bit ahead of its time in terms of the formula. And so that bodes well for the fragrance today. So let's talk a little bit about, now that we know what's in the fragrance, let's talk about what it smells like. Unlike most men's fragrance that often have it in the heart or especially in the base, Versace Man Eau Fraiche has wood in the open. It opens up with rosewood that has starfruit and lemon. So you have two kinds of fruits. You've got starfruit, lemon, that give it this really bright lemony zest and bite. And then you have rosewood. Rosewood is similar to teak wood. It's a woody note with a bit of sharpness to it. And that goes really well with the fruit in the open. So immediately out of the atomizer, you get this sharp, woody, fruity sensation. The heart is a spicy tarragon, cedar leaf, and clary sage. Now, tarragon is a spice that's often used in foods, of course, and it's most similar to a basil in terms of its green herbaceousness. It also has a little bit of a bite to it, similar, a little bit of an edge to it that's similar to aniseed, because aniseed and licorice are related. It has that kind of licorice edge to it. So the heart takes that open of wood and fruit and carries it into the territory of spicy, green, herbaceous. Definitely gives it more flavor and more direction. And what the base does is it just projects that overall scent profile forward. It gives it more oomph, more power, and of course the ambergris and ambroxan, basically the musk, adds that density and weight that every man's fragrance needs, and the addition of plane tree wood gives it more of a medium kind of woody meaty woody to it as opposed to the brighter rosewood. So overall, what does this blend smell like? It smells like a masculine, woody, spicy, fruity fragrance. That lemon note is definitely a fresh, zesty lemon, and it lives throughout the life of the fragrance. One easy way to describe pretty much how Versace Man Eau Fraiche smells is if you take the 2003 release of Versace Man and the 2008 release of Versace Pour Homme, and you were to combine them, that's pretty much sort of where Versace Man Eau Fraiche comes into play. They're kind of in that territory with a combination of the two, although not obviously as bright or as zesty as this fragrance, and not as darker and tobacco oriented as this fragrance, because there isn't a tobacco note. It does take that spicy green, herbaceous tarragon, and clary sage. Clary sage, of course, is a cousin of basil too, so both are very similar. Just they work in tandem really well together. The ambergris, musk, and the two woods in the fragrance combined with that fruit topping, that lemon and starfruit, but mostly lemon, and that's what you get in this fragrance. Fresh, spicy, masculine men's fragrance. It often gets categorized as a youthful fragrance. So is Versace Man Eau Fraiche just for young people, for 25 and below? Well, absolutely not. As I mentioned, my friend gave this as a gift, and of course you can guess that all of us that were part of the wedding party wore this. It was kind of a cool effect though, because you definitely smelled Versace Man Eau Fraiche wherever the wedding party was, because all of us were wearing, you know, our gift. Having said that, it was perfectly appropriate for a wedding party. A wedding you consider a bit upscale because everyone is dressed up, so it was perfect for that occasion. But again, very masculine. So it's not so much that it's for young people or for a more mature crowd. It is hyper versatile. It doesn't matter the age. Versace Man Eau Fraiche is equally the signature scent that Versace Pour Homme is. However, this is considered more of a specific to summertime fragrance. Versace Man Eau Fraiche carries traits that allow you to wear it in not only just summer, but also fall, also the not so cold days of winter as well. I mean, here it is in November, mid-November, it's still 70 degrees outside. Perfect kind of weather to wear something like Versace Man Eau Fraiche. And again, it's not just your generic average blue fragrance. Even though the presentation is blue, it doesn't smell blue. It's not a blue fragrance per se. It's more along the lines of a spicy, masculine, kind of standalone masculine signature scent. And in my book, that makes it hyper versatile because there's no ageism that exists with Versace Man Eau Fraiche. Because it's Versace Man, not Versace Teen or Versace Child or Versace Tween. It's a lifestyle fragrance. Whatever reason you're wearing it, the fragrance will conform to that environment. It's that versatile. And that's kind of what sets it apart from some of the other Versace releases that are specific to occasions or scenarios. Versace Man Eau Fraiche is not. Primarily because of the ambergris, the woods, and the spices, Versace Man Eau Fraiche has great performance. I would say average to just above moderate performance. In terms of sillage or your scent trail, it's definitely good. It's going to be bigger and more resounding the more sprays that you spray on, of course, just like pretty much any fragrance. And of course, it will be most long lasting when you spray it on clothing. Not specific to any season because it is a signature scent, but best maximized in spring and summer. Versace Man Eau Fraiche has something else going for it, and that is it's very inexpensive. So you're not going to spend a ton of money on a 100ml bottle, and it's going to be well worth what you pay for it. As I always do, I've linked it down below if you want to check it out and check out the pricing and pick yourself up a bottle if you don't already own it. Well guys, that's pretty much a wrap of my review of Versace Man Eau Fraiche, but I do want to know what your thoughts are. Do you own the fragrance? And if you do, what do you like about it? Or what do you dislike about it? Let me know in the comments below, and let me know what your favorite Versace fragrance is. Thanks so much though for stopping by to check out today's video review, and as always, thank you so much for your support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you tomorrow.